Well, hello, and welcome everyone to Skydio Live Ops. Today we're going to be going over the remote substation inspection. I'm Lee Millen, Director of Product Marketing for Dock and Remote Ops, and joining me today we have Christina and Corey. But before I let them introduce themselves, I just quickly want to take care of a couple housekeeping items. One, this is designed to be a relaxed environment. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A. We're going to try to address those as it makes sense live, but then if some other questions, we'll just hold off to the end. And with that, Christina, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Lee. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Park. I am here at Skydio, the Senior Director of Energy Strategy. I came over here in March, and prior to that, I had a 15-year career at the New York Power Authority. My last role there was the Senior Director of Asset Intelligence Solutions. So we were looking from a reliability standpoint and from the maintenance all the way up to the new technologies and then getting the results and figuring out how to scale and operationalize them in the enterprise. Corey?
Hey, Christina, thanks. Hey, I'm Corey Hitchcock. I'm a utility solution specialist at Skydio. I had a 23-year career at Southern Company where I was a transmission, distribution lineman, and distribution operator. So I've seen utility environment from all sides. My last role before leaving Southern Company helped lead our own program with over 400 aircraft and 200 pilots. One of the last projects I was working on when I left Southern Company was the early access program dock operations. And so we very early on saw the benefit of dock, and excited to share some further advancements today.
Awesome. Thank you both. Let's see here. I'm just going to cover a couple of quick slides to tee up the demo, and then Corey and Christina are going to actually take a bulk of today showing you our live operation. So over the past couple months, we've been hosting a number of webinars around the utility industry, such as maintenance strategies for aging infrastructure and path to condition-based maintenance. What we're doing today is showing you how those things can kind of come to life with our substation monitoring use case, which is used by a lot of our customers doing dock operations. What they're seeing is the benefit of regular flights to use data to make maintenance decision. Then there's also using it as security measures. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of attacks on substations in the last year, so security's really been a concern for folks. And then lastly, it's keeping people out of magnet electrified environments when they don't need to be there. So it's a little safety issue as well. And then next up, we're going to be doing this in our dock warehouse in Hayward, California. Corey is actually going to be across the country and somewhere in Massachusetts. I'll tell you where. But what I want to do, since we'll be flying indoors, we don't have to have regulatory waivers like you do outside. So what I want to talk about is what it takes to get an outdoor dock operation going. So it's a full solution. It starts with regulatory waivers for Part 107. We have a regulatory team on staff that's helped a ton of our customers get waivers to fly this exact use case across the entire nation. Up is your hardware selection. Since we're going to be outdoors, we're going to fly the outdoor dock in the Skydio X2 today. And then as part of your waivers, you're also going to need weather sensors and airspace sensors to make sure that you're taking off in the right environment and your airspace is clear. Next up, we have the remote ops software, which you'll be seeing live today. So I'm not going to spend any time covering that. And then lastly, we want to set you up for success. So we have deployment team that sets up your dock, make it running and operational, and a training team to get your team up to speed so you can run operations from pretty much day one. And with that, I'm going to hand the reins over to Corey.
Thanks, Lee. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So this is the landing page once you log into the Skydio cloud interface. And what it does is it shows all of the aircraft that we have in our fleet, and then all of the aircraft that are online in their current state. So we're going to pick Midway 252, which is inside the dock warehouse, and 252 is inside the dock warehouse, and we've pre-programmed a inspection mission on a substation prop that we have inside the dock warehouse. So click Find Now. And the dock camera is going to show here what's happening. The dock is opening. It's going to extend the aircraft, and then it's also a way to do pre-flight on the aircraft as you're extending it. We also have a thermal camera on board and the visible camera on board. So we're going to go ahead and once the dock closes and we get the fit for flight indication, we will launch. All right, we've got our ready for flight. We're going to go ahead and launch. Actually, hold on. Back up. I didn't pick the mission.
Oh, Corey's got to pick the mission for that.
I forgot to pick the mission. So we're going to pick the substation inspection mission here. We're going to run this mission on Midway 252, which we've already programmed.
And just while that's running and getting set up, just want to note here that's pre-programmed mission. It's going to fly pretty fast. And also you're seeing a stream online that's being restreamed to all of y'all. So it's kind of a stream within a stream. So if it looks a little choppy, to be expected when you're watching your video post-flight, it's going to be crystal clear.
So wait just a second because I canceled that flight. It's retracting into the dock. So let me get that set and we will launch this mission.
So I think what's interesting about this and the impression it left on me, I think when I came to Dock Day as a customer last December, was the fact that anybody can do this and anybody can fly it. So I had never flown a drone, much less remotely at that time, but I was able to get on the software, look at the commands, and with a little bit of help in terms of knowing what to do next, I was able to fly remotely. And I think that's really exciting for people who don't necessarily have a background in being a pilot or flying these drones.
Okay, now I've got my mission set. It's going to be a quick mission. It is a
So we have a bit of a simulation of a substation inspection inside of our dock warehouse, where we've put a transformer and some components of inspection that you would see in a standard substation inspection.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Now we're online. We're ready to go. We're going to launch this thing. It takes about a minute to do this inspection. It's got about 6 waypoints. We're going to launch. The aircraft, once it takes off, goes to about 2 meters and then does a localization orbit of the visual obstacle avoidance system. And then we're moving over to the first waypoint at the substation prop we have here. You can see the AR, augmented reality kind of indicators on the screen. That's how the drone knows where to take a photo, and these are prearranged. So this is the oil expansion tank. We checked the cooling fans initially. We're going to move down to some expansion tank gauges. We've got a winding temperature gauge, and then we've got our low side or secondary side bushings. And then the aircraft's going to return to the dock. Upon return to the dock door will open. The arm will extend. The drone will look for the fiduciary on top with the Skydio emblem there, and then also look for the number to ensure that it's at the correct dock. And then it will descend using the large symbol, and then rotate and lock on to the small symbol on the arm. That gives it kind of its fine positioning capabilities. And then you'll see it drop into the cup here.
So what's nice about the dock cam is that you can also use this to inspect the drone. If you stick this in a remote substation, obviously there isn't anybody nearby to inspect your drone, but you can use this to do a visual inspection to make sure that all of your components are intact. If there's inclement weather, you can also view that and those effects as well.
And it's got a pretty neat prop folding capability. So the behavior here, the props, while extended, are too wide to fit inside the dock, and so the aircraft is programmed to fold the props up and retract the aircraft into the dock. The dock is climate controlled for heat and heating and cooling. It has the capability to melt snow off the top to keep that fiduciary clear, and then also maintain the climate inside the dock for optimal battery charging. So once the flight's complete, I'm going to go ahead and exit the flight deck. That data is automatically uploaded to the Skydio cloud, and then there are API integrations that will allow your data flow to be used to push the data wherever it needs to go, whether it's an Esri integration, a Bentley integration, drone deploy, and then we also have a team that can work on new integrations if what we have today or what you use today we don't have. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to the media tab, and I can search. You can search the media tab by vehicles and pilots. So I'm going to go ahead and search my name. And then it's going to show all of the flights that I did. And then I'm going to pop in and check out this media. So again, I'm on hotel Wi-Fi in Lenox, Massachusetts, and I just flew this mission in Hayward, California. So this is one of the winding temperature gauges there, and we can see that it's right at 160 C. We've got, this should be the view of the oil tank level gauge, and then got one more I want to show you. We actually have a cracked or chipped insulator on the secondary side of this power transformer that we were able to find with the prearranged mission. And then once that mission is complete, you can have a catalog of missions. It's a library, so you can select or plan missions for different differential schemes, say inside your station, whether you have a distribution bus differential scheme or a bank protection differential scheme. You can plan missions so that if that differential scheme activates, you can have the drone automatically fly the devices that are associated with that differential scheme, and kind of give you eyes on prior to sending personnel on the site, so you can send the correct personnel out there. Another cool feature of the Skydio cloud is the summary page. So it's kind of a dashboard showing what's going on. This is time period from October the 9th through November the 9th, and we've had 330 flights with 29 hours of flight time with 67 active pilots. And you can see that across your whole fleet. So with that, Lee, we want to do a
yeah, let's run one more. I mean, let's say
flight.
Yeah, we just ran a pre-planned mission. It was super fast. So if Corey, you want to take the drone back out and show off a little bit of the capabilities. Let's say you had a storm. You just need to check something out. This could be why you'd want to go fly right now and then inspect your area. Potentially save you from having to send a person out or any other situation that arises. So yeah, we're going to go back to that same workflow that Corey just showed. The dock's going to open, take off. Some other things I think, Corey, you want to show off is maybe some of the obstacle avoidance. One of the things that I think really makes this possible from Skydio is the navigation system we have on the drone and the autonomy. So while you're behind the keys, you're focused on getting the shot, and the drone is going to take care of the flying and avoiding obstacles for you.
And so with me flying this ad hoc mission, there's going to be a little bit of a lag and delay, just due to me being like on the hotel Wi-Fi. Typically, that is not an issue. All right, so we've got our substation. This is inside of our dock warehouse. I'm going to move towards this fence line here. And the dock avoided the fence, and then I've moved to the front of the transformer here, checking out the cooling fins and fans. And then I'm going to climb a little bit, and we're going to zoom in on that damaged insulator that we found in our prearranged mission.
So if we think about this from an application standpoint, you could have prearranged missions, particularly for remote substations, set kind of like a sprinkler system. So it just, you set it and forget it, it goes. And then based on the results of it, now you have this, what Corey's doing now, which is flying manually to get a better look at some of the findings from the initial mission, depending on the photos that were taken, if he might want to see it from a slightly different angle, or if you detect an intruder or anything like that, you can manually go in.
So here we are. I went back to the secondary side bushing and was able to locate that chipped insulator. And then now I can make those calls that we need to get that insulator fixed or put it on the work schedule or whatever we need to do. Once I've completed this kind of ad hoc inspection, I can tap the return button on the interface, and the drone will again return to the dock. It'll locate the correct dock to land in, again using that fiduciary to extend the arm and catch the drone.
All right, Corey, thanks for that. And the drone is going to take the fastest path back in this case, and it's flying itself. Once you hit return to dock, you kind of take your hands off the keys, and it does it all for you. Let's see. Anything else we want to cover in here? I haven't seen too many questions pop up. So this is a good time to remind everyone, type in a couple questions for us. We'd love to hear your thoughts on one, maybe the scenario, and two, if you had any questions about the autonomous flight, we can cover that.
Oh, one more thing about the ad hoc flights. Notifications will occur when the missions are complete, and you can have those notifications sent to the relevant personnel. So that way you're notified that a mission is completed and the data is ready.
Perfect. All right, I think that's going to end our demo here. So we'll kind of switch gears back. Just throwing this slide up because just wanted to show you like what we did today was definitely simulation. We obviously were inside, not at a substation. But since we launched our dock and remote ops program in January of just this year, we've already deployed some 350 docks with customers. We've flown over 20,000 missions at over 1,700 flight hours. So this is out in the ether being used daily. And then also just who we're working with. Skydio's been working with utilities across the globe since our inception pretty much. And we also are working with about 83 of those in the US, many of which are starting to implement remote ops and dock programs as well. So with that, I'm going to move on to the Q&A portion. And let's see, make sure, type any questions there. I did see one that came in so far. Okay, good question here. Do you use any type of AI to identify issues, or is it relying on manual review and identification?
So at the moment, it's relying on manual review, but it is on our roadmap. So we have some development internally in terms of developing a semantic understanding of what the drone is looking at. And we also have Skydio Extend, which was announced at Ascend back in September. So Skydio Extend is a partnerships group, a technology partnerships group, where we're working on various integrations with other tech partners, whether they be companies like Esri and platforms that utilities already use, or other partners that are developing analytics such as what you are describing, right? So in a future state, an end-to-end solution would look like taking all of this data capture that you have and really running it through maybe an analytic before the human comes in the loop, so that you can weed out the data that's not significant and just focus in on the defects that were found or the intruders or objects of concern.
Perfect. All right, let's see. Next up here, it says, also, have you done anything with thermographic cameras mounted on the drone in addition to regular HD cameras?
Yes. The Skydio X2 that's currently in the dock has a thermal sensor that is non-radiometric, but our new X10 has a 640 by 512 radiometric thermal sensor with the FLIR Boson Plus that really allows for thermographers to set the parameters on the camera to get the best reporting that they can.
All right, good. And then another kind of question here is, what if my substation's super remote and we don't have great connectivity to internet? How do you get these docks and remote ops to work?
So we've proven pretty successfully that our docks and the cloud interaction, all that stuff will work with Starlink. And with Starlink covering the United States, we've made it pretty easy to install Starlink at a location with a dock and then be able to operate it pretty much anywhere in the United States.
Perfect. Yeah, we're having good success with that. Last question I'm seeing in the queue here is, how does your drone react around highly energized environments?
Well, that's funny you ask, Lee. I just got back from testing in a high voltage lab. We operated the Skydio X10 and we have operated the Skydio X2 at the same location, but today we were able to get in between 138 kV phases with normal spacing, with no degradation of control, no degradation of video, and most importantly, no issue to the system. So we were able to fly in minimal obstacle avoidance, which is about a half a meter from the conductor. And at one point today, we were observing a corona source, which is basically visible arcing, and we were in between two phases doing that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty exciting. I can't wait to see that video. Let's see here. I haven't seen any other questions pop up in the queue, so in the next few seconds it'll be good. Otherwise, I wanted to say that what we showed you today was really quick, but gave you a flavor. Hopefully, gave you a flavor of what we can do. We're happy to circle back, really talk to you about what it would take to get a dock and remote ops solution set up in your environments and what your use cases are that we can help you solve for. So we'll circle back with you after this. And that queue is still empty. So with that, we can call it a session, give you back 4 minutes of your day. And we thank everyone for taking time out to attend this webinar. And we'll see you on the next live.